Ford and Mazda, two titans of the auto industry, yet their secret past collaboration may surprise you. Behind closed doors, these automakers formed an alliance that shaped the cars you see on the road today in unexpected ways. From shared platforms to badge-earned models, this unlikely pairing changed the face of both brands. The connection between these giants goes deeper than you ever imagined. Mazda and Ford's unexpected alliance had a fascinating beginning. It all started in 1974 when these two automotive giants joined forces. Now, if you have even a hint of interest in the world of cars, you'll know that Ford's name carries incredible weight. Their history dates back to the early 1900s, and they're celebrated for iconic models like the Ford Model T, which remains a legendary car of the 20th century. On the other hand, Mazda, while a prominent automaker today, doesn't enjoy the same level of recognition in the Western world. Their journey into car production began in the early 1930s, and it gradually gained momentum from there. To unravel the rationale behind the unexpected partnership, we must delve into the challenges that both manufacturers faced during that era. Let's rewind to the 1960s, a time when Mazda was basking in the glow of success in the American market. They had an unconventional approach to car making, notably featuring rotary engines and cutting-edge styling, a recipe that resonated with a significant portion of American car enthusiasts. However, the 1970s ushered in a new set of challenges in the form of stringent emissions regulations and soaring gas prices. These developments hit Mazda particularly hard, given that their rotary engines were known for their thirst for fuel. The predicament was compounded by Mazda's heavy reliance on its American customer base. Any setbacks in this critical market could prove detrimental. Consequently, in 1974, Mazda made a pivotal decision by allowing Ford to acquire a 24.5% stake in their business. This strategic move allowed Ford to lend its support to the Japanese brand, aiding in the development of more cost-effective vehicles and implementing cost-cutting measures across the board. Thus, the seeds of remarkable alliance were sown. So, does Ford have complete ownership of Mazda? It might seem that way, especially when you consider models like the Ford Festiva, Ford Telstar, an Australian market sedan, and the Ford Escape. However, the truth is that Ford doesn't own Mazda outright. As mentioned earlier, in the mid-70s, Ford acquired a substantial stake in Mazda, nearly a quarter of the company. Then, in 1980, Ford took it a step further, increasing their ownership share to 33.4%. This move granted Ford significant influence over Mazda's direction as they ventured into the new decade. Yet, despite the substantial ownership share, it's essential to clarify that Ford did not gain full ownership of Mazda. As we delve into the history of this alliance, we find that most badge-engineered models can be traced back to the 80s and 90s. This era was indeed the high point of their partnership, flourishing for over 2 decades since it began. However, as the 21st century unfolded, differences in strategic direction and the impact of a significant economic recession led Ford to slowly reduce its stake in Mazda. We'll explore the precise reasons behind this shift in greater details later, but it's important to note that as we said goodbye to 2014 and welcomed 2015, it became official. The long-standing partnership had indeed come to an end. Badge engineering, a practice where two manufacturers share the same basic vehicle design but add their unique touches, was truly at its peak during the Ford and Mazda alliance. You might already recognize some models that share both Ford and Mazda DNA, which is essentially a Ford Escape with a slightly different exterior. The Mazda Tribute was in production from 2001 to 2005 and offered 2 primary engine options. For those seeking a family-friendly option, there was a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that generated 122 horsepower. It was clear that this version was more suited for everyday driving rather than rugged SUV adventures. However, for those looking for more power, the flagship trim levels came with a potent 200 horsepower 3-liter V6 engine. Interestingly, both of these engines had their roots in Ford. The 4-cylinder engine was Ford's Z-Tech engine, and the V6 was another Ford creation known as the Duratec. These engines found their way into numerous Ford models during the early 2000s, becoming quite popular. The Mazda Tribute serves as a prime example of how this alliance benefited both companies. Mazda saved money by utilizing Ford's engines and other components while still infusing the model with their unique characteristics, like firmer suspension for that signature sporty handling that Mazda enthusiasts love. Beyond the tribute, other models also reaped the rewards of this collaboration. Take, for instance, the Mazda 121, which was based on the Ford Festiva. This unassuming hatchback design proved to be incredibly popular, even inspiring Kia to produce the Kia Pride using the same platform. During this period, Mazda was focused on developing its own sporty models, such as the iconic RX-7 and the dominant MX-5 Miata. Meanwhile, Ford played a crucial role in bolstering Mazda's family car range. Notably, Ford also assisted Mazda in developing their B-Series pickup truck, which was essentially a Ford Ranger underneath. It's no wonder that the B-Series pickup is celebrated as one of the most reliable Mazdas ever produced, capable of covering impressive distances up to 500,000 miles when properly cared for. The remarkable partnership between Ford and Mazda endured for a substantial 40 years, marked by notable successes on both sides. However, you might wonder why this long-standing alliance eventually dwindled and dissolved. The answer is actually quite clear and straightforward. Mazda has always had a knack for taking a unique and unconventional approach, a key factor in their individual success. Whether it's pioneering cool rotary-powered coupes or reviving classic two-seater sports cars, Mazda has consistently charted its own distinctive course. By the time 2009 rolled around, Mazda began to feel that Ford's influence had become too significant. They were eager to set out on a new path for their vehicles. This fresh direction was epitomized by the 2010 Shinari concept car, which introduced Mazda's innovative design language, fittingly named Kodo. In essence, Kodo aimed to infuse Mazda's designs with fluidity, an almost lifelike quality and the ability to convey motion even when stationary. Mazda believed that if they continued to develop models based on Ford platforms, they wouldn't be able to embrace this new design direction fully. Therefore, in their eyes, the partnership had come to an end. As the global financial crisis of 2008 took its toll, Ford initiated the process by divesting its shares in Mazda. This process continued until 2015, when all of Ford's shares in Mazda's had been sold. It marked the end of a significant era in the partnership between these two automotive giants. Having paved its own path to independent success over the years, Mazda enthusiasts and fans may hold on to the hope of the revival of iconic models like the rotary-powered RX sports cars. As the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end. But who knows what exciting innovations the future holds for Mazda and its iconic lineup? The road ahead is full of possibilities and surprises. So, you tell me, guys, which Ford-Mazda collaboration do you think was the most iconic, and what would you like to see from Mazda in the future? Share your thoughts below. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join our passionate community.